Namaste friends, welcome to Yoga Bliss with Shelly, and I'm Shelly. Welcome to day 27 of this yoga challenge. Today's practice is inspired to help us work through distractions and to help give us a nice full body stretch. A lot of people join the practice of yoga in hopes just to stretch their body, and they don't think it's like anything that's like a workout. Yoga to me it's not only moving my body, but it's tapping into my heart space, my energetic self. It's connecting the mind, the body, and the spirit all to one. Today, I have my magic labradorite. This is this magic crystal that I use when I do Reiki. And if you can see, it sometimes looks black, and others it has like the colors of the ocean within it. This has been my inspiration. There it goes, right there, see that? This inspiration for this lovely Buddha that I'm painting behind me. The background, if you can see, I've been really inspired. So if you have a special crystal or a stone in your house, go grab it. And if you don't, that's fine. If you go for a walk today, if you're out in nature and you notice a little stone calling your name, I encourage you to pick it up and carry it around with you and maybe put it by your bedstand. I love you so much, friends. Come on, let's hop back together. I encourage you to have a pillow and a blanket for your comfort. Yoga is about moving our body, but it's also about getting comfortable and doing things which feel good for us. And the blanket and the pillow help our joints, our sit bones, our hips, and our legs. Join me in your most comfortable Sukhasana, crisscross applesauce. Sukhasana is also known as the easy pose, which is sometimes not as easy as perceived here. Allowing yourself to settle, to be connected here all the way down from our root chakra. It's our base chakra. Down below, it's our chakra that is in charge of our trust and how we allow ourselves to trust ourselves, how we allow ourselves to trust the world around us. So really just connect with that root chakra. And if imagery settles with you, maybe envisioning roots, like big, crazy roots from a tree, just rooting down. That gave me goosebumps just thinking of that imagery, just shooting down deep into the earth, just letting it be your anchor, knowing that you're safe and you're protected here. In drawing up a long length of energy, connecting all of those chakras, all the way racing up, all the way to our crown, to our spiritual chakra. And envisioning a white light, or maybe a green light, or your favorite color, a gold light, a pink, a purple light, a turquoise light, beaming from the top of your head and connecting all the way up to the sun or the moon if you're practicing at night, all the way up to light in the universe. And finding that long length of energy from that root chakra to the crown chakra, helping us find a little balance within. I'm also a Reiki practitioner. I'm a Reiki master, levels 3. And Reiki is tuning into these energy centers. So I like to use Reiki and yoga together. Really connecting, working through distractions. Okay, go for it, go get it. Working through distractions, and know that wherever you are in your practice, no matter what's going on, if you have a peaceful, amazing Zen practice, or if you are a mama like me and you have kids, I use yoga as an anchor in my life to help me be better, to help me be a sane mom, which I'm not always. Sometimes I lose my cool and be a crazy mama, but mostly yoga, I use this practice of anchoring, setting an intention to help me be the best me that I can be. And that's why I'm here. That's what this challenge is about. That's what this channel is about. Bringing hands and palms, kissing palms to Anjali Mudra, setting an intention for your practice. And that's the first thought, the first thing that comes in, not the other relentless bubbles that come through. Jack's so cute. Come here, Jack, show us what you got. I went to my spiritual women's group potluck last night, and one of the daughters, the mom's daughters, made these pink cream puff things. They're like muffins that are cut in half with little whipped cream, sugar-free awesomeness. And Jack is getting to indulge on his. How is it, Jack?
Good.
Is it good? Okay. Can you go quietly? Go quietly and get a wipe for your face. Setting that intention for me, it's working through distractions and just showing up for myself, giving myself love within. Tuning into a breath, a yoga breath that works best for you, or any breath. If breath is something that causes you anxiety, I encourage you to use that imagery of that white light and all those chakras. We have 7 energy centers. If that works better for you, or use those roots into the earth. The breath I'm going to practice with today is the complete yogic breath, and it is this breath where we divide our torso into thirds. Tummy, 1/3, ribs, heart, 1/3, upper chest, 1/3. And envisioning, if this is the breath that you choose or not, your torso is like a glass of water, and you bring your air, the water, in to your belly, like you fill up your cup. It rises to the ribs. It fills all the way to the top of the glass, and then when you pour it out from the top to the bottom, you can also fill up your breath from the top to the middle to the bottom, and you can release whatever way works for you, but I like the filling up and letting it out. Allowing that jaw to drop. If you choose a nasal breath, that's just going to be a more warming breath for you. And nasal breaths have a tendency to stay more in our clavicle region, in our upper chest, which is a more healing breath. So taking whatever breath works best for you. Letting it out. I love you. Working through distractions. Breathing that fluid breath in. Letting it dissipate. And not being afraid of your voice, my friends. This is a home practice. The beauty of home practice is we're comfortable in our space. And if you're not comfortable in your space, find a space where you can be comfortable. And here comes Joy. He's almost 1. He's a sweet puppy. Letting it flow. Inhaling one beautiful breath in. Letting it flow. Inhaling, rolling and rounding up at the shoulders, really bringing the shoulder blades together and opening up at the chest here, slowly and mindfully, tuning into that stretch of that whole body. So even when we're working our shoulders, if you can grab a little bit of that engagement of the core here, feeling what that feels like, really compressing, contracting, and then opening and expanding. Slowly and mindfully feeling what that feels like in that ball and socket joint. I can't talk today. I can talk today. I'm amazing. No matter what's going on in your cray-cray mind, letting that inner critic go. Say, no thank you, inner critic. I'm here showing up. Exhaling to neutral, maybe shaking it out. Inhale, rising up and feeling what that feels like. Slowly and mindfully engaging through the core. I just felt my midsection just drop. So just be aware of what your body is feeling like and what it is that you are experiencing. And using either that imagery of the roots or using that breath. This complete yogic breath, the 3-part breath here, is this beautiful fluid breath that calms and cools the nervous system, and it calms and cools the mind. Exhaling the right hand down on the mat, down in between your knee and your glutes. Inhaling, finding that engagement of the core. Sweeping slowly and mindfully that arm over the opposite head. Not opposite head, the arm above your head here. Big breath into the heart space. Letting it sink. Option to stay still or option to find a little soft gaze. Maybe if you wanted to find a little smooth, graceful movement. I just encourage you that no matter where you are at in your practice, to tune into your muscles. Feel that stretch all the way around. All those side muscles, feeling it in the back. Even a little bit in the traps. Maybe taking a soft little open of the shoulder here. Tucking forward. Just rolling in and tuning into that whole body. Waking and rising that body up. Beautiful work, my beautiful friends here. Exhaling, coming back to neutral. Opposite hand, right, left hand down onto the earth. Option for a wide open starfish hand or to point the fingers, whatever feels best for you. Inhale, coursing that core straight. Exhaling, raising the right arm above overhead here. Tuning into that body, to the side ribs that are compressed. The intercostal muscles, which is the webbing of muscles in between the ribs here. And maybe tuning into a stretch that feels good for you. Excuse me, sorry. Excuse me. Counting your own blessings, blessing yourself if you need to. Exhaling, raising the arm. Tuning into that intention of working through distractions. I don't know if you can hear, but my kiddos are upstairs slamming doors, being quack up banana sandwiches because it's Saturday. No school day, always so lovely. Maybe softly bending at that elbow. And just taking a few fluid movements that feel good to you. So feel what it feels like to lean forward and slowly slicing and sweeping forward. Beautiful work, my friends. Exhaling and allowing the feet to come palm kissing palms into Baddha Konasana, the butterfly here. Really grounding and pressing the feet together mindfully as you would press your hands together. Feel what it feels like, creating this a little bit of resistance here. I'm still up on my pillow, and feel what that feels like to you to take it off, but I like the pillow for that support, and I like that slight little pelvic tilt. Yoga and me going through my teacher training is all about me healthily teaching you and students and people around me to be safe within their body and loving their body and really tuning into that energetic heart, that anahata here. And maybe take a moment to dive forward and slowly with that core, slowly slicing from side, maybe coming to a soft twist. Just taking this at your own pace, slowly, using sound and breath. To anchor you coming forward, slowly. Whenever we twist, we are cleaning out our insides, really tuning into that twist of the spine, that lumbar spine, that midsection of the spine here. I'm really feeling this in my shoulders as my fingers are engaged. And doing your best to create resistance. This is one of those poses or movements where we can feel nothing or so much. You can actually, I can make myself sweat. And doing your best to really press, use those muscles, press in. Raising up at the heart center, creating that resistance here. You're not fighting yourself, but you're pressing, you're working with yourself. You're opening up here. Inhale, raising the arms up high to the sky. Exhale, diving forward. Big, beautiful breath, peeking out through the middle of the hand, really feeling that stretch in the quads, the inner thighs here, by really pressing in together. So if you need to stretch your toes and your fingers out, and reposition them. Exhale, slowly sweeping and slicing sideways. Raising up to sitting. Allowing just a pausing breath here. Straight forward. Taking a few conscious breaths. A little fly friend on my shoulder. In yoga, we use a drishti, which is a visual point. Tuning into a visual point, tapping into that breath, deepening at that breath. Gazing up through the fingers or down below in between the legs, whatever feels good for you, and slowly carving, slicing a horizontal line. feeling that strength and that twist in the spine. And doing your best not to compromise the integrity of your spine by trying to go and torque too deep. Just really feeling what that feels like inside of your body, my beautiful friends here. Exhaling, slowly slicing forward. Inhale, raising up. Placing the hands on the thighs and allowing yourself to feel. To really tap into that root chakra, that space, that chakra down below on the sacrum, down the lowest point, and feeling what that feels like to feel rooted here. Inhaling one foot up and the opposite foot up, and really just tuning into the feet connected on the earth and that root chakra grounded down into the earth. Finding length and strength in the spine here. I'm going to bring my pillow with me, turning sideways, length and strength in the spine here. Legs open up wide, really opening up and pressing straight up, finding that length all the way from that root chakra to the top of the spine here. Inhale, curving at that back and letting that back come back, using mostly the core strength and not so much grabbing onto the legs here. As you inhale, diving forward through the chest and the heart, popping up at the chin here and really rooting and opening up through the body. Inhale, sinking back. Using that strength of the core, stretching and opening up that body. Exhaling, diving forward. Tuning into either those visuals or that breath. Coming back, taking it slow, using that core, shooting through the core. Breathing up, shining that heart light straight out, my beautiful friends here. Inhale, diving back. Exhaling forward. Two more at your own pace. Tuning into what is feeling like inside of your bodies, inside of your hips. Beautiful work, my friends. Slowly and mindfully moving your sweet little puppy who's curled up so kindly on this little blankie. We're going to use that blankie, sorry Joy. Setting up that blankie, removing any wrinkles from the blanket. And I encourage you to use a blanket for your knees. And however this looks like to you, you can come back to, you can roll your legs on the side, or you can crisscross applesauce and mindfully roll forward, coming up on the knees with the feet crisscrossed behind here, coming into our nice tabletop position here, and really just feeling what this feels like, being connected to the earth, creating that wide open starfish hand here, setting up, getting those wrinkles out, making that blanket nice and neat for you here. And slowly taking a journey with the spine and cow and cats here, tuning into the hind feet and the ankles and the knees. Inhale, raising up that spine. Exhale, sinking. And maybe taking a few deep conscious breaths here. Still tuning into that root chakra and rooting down, allowing yourselves to trust, to work through those distractions. Taking that breath that resonates with you. Allowing yourself to let it all go. Breathing a breath deep in. Letting it flow. Inhale, raising up. And maybe if it feels good, you could take it in a more dynamic cat. Really pressing through the four corners of the hand, rolling out of the biceps, pressing up in between the shoulders here. Exhale, journeying down here. And inhaling, I'm going to turn around, and you can turn around too if you would like to, keeping the right knee grounded into the mat. Exhaling, the left foot laterally out, facing the long edge of your mat. So if you are still facing forward, you can just allow your legs to drop on the outsides of your mat, or you can come on your mat, whatever feels more comfy for you. There's no right or wrong. It all works perfectly wonderful. Tuning into that foot onto the earth. And for me, I'm really feeling the stretch here on the outer corner of my foot and the outer corner of my ankle. In yoga, you do want to find that edge, that happy space between too much and not enough, but you don't want it to hurt or be painful. So really tuning in and listening to what feels good for you and your body. Slowly and mindfully activating the core, being aware of the hips. The hips really like to pop up and out, but doing your best to keep them down. In yoga, we always want to be gentle with our joints. Our joints are these amazing, intricate, fascinating parts of our body, and there's so much to them. So just giving them love by giving them a micro bend, exhaling, and slowly taking your breath and taking your time. Just slowly walk mindfully. It doesn't always have to be a race. To the opposite corner of your mat here. Inhaling through the core, twisting, opening up that body, opening up that hip here, and that foot might want to pop up, but doing your best to keep that foot popped down and engaged onto the earth here. Inhale, raising that arm. Option, if this feels good, you can keep a soft little fin, a little dolphin fin, or exhale, you can stack shoulders over shoulders, or you can come in for this beautiful lateral angle here, creating this nice diagonal angle. And then joy bologna comes in. We call him joy bologna. We don't even eat bologna. I ate bologna when I was a kid. Too much information, but joy bologna, and he's chewing up a little puppy's nose. I don't know why he's doing that. Find that beautiful stretch in that body. Using that core engagement slowly and mindfully, corseting that core strength, which means just I use that visualization of a corset, pulling that together here. Exhaling, using that core strength, and slowly, whatever this looks like to you, coming up to a raised up for this cross gate, allowing that arm to journey down the opposite leg. Inhale, raising the arm above the opposite direction here. Big, beautiful breath here. Option to keep the arm down here. Option for a soft little dolphin fin, or option for a soft little gentle bind creeping around the opposite side here. Big breath into the body, keeping it static and still if you would like, or creating a soft little twist forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, raising up, popping soft back bend. Inhale, twisting for that full body stretch, really feeling that in that left side of the body. Inhale, raising up. Cultivating creativity, so finding a little movement. Maybe it looks a little different, something that feels good for you. You don't always have to do everything so inside of the box or so black and white, or paint a rainbow, find all the colors of the rainbow. Yoga, all of these principles in yogas are just guidelines to help us, but we can be creative in our practices. Just as in life, we can be creative and we can step out of the box. Even if you're like a bookworm or a black and white person, you can just try to do your best to find a little creativity within you. And when we can learn creativity in our practice, we can bring it with us in our daily life, so it's pretty awesome. Exhaling, hands on the hips, hinging from the hips, leading with the heart down to the earth, and coming in for a few cow and cats here, and feeling the difference that that feels to arch up at the spine, curl in at the tail. Oh, this is not safe, my puppy. Just chewing on a little stuffy nose. Don't chew on the stuffy nose. Feeling what that feels like in the spine, the difference between when it felt really raising up at the chin. Inhale, rise. Letting it go. This is one of my favorite variations. I learned this in my teacher training and I was literally like in shock of like, this is the coolest, most deep body stretching poses ever. I love it so much. Inhale, raising up and letting it sink. And slowly and mindfully bending, and just, if you want, you can slowly toe heel, toe heel, toe heel. Coming to that opposite side. So bringing that left knee onto that blanket and not smudging your little pepperoni. Exhaling the opposite foot long onto the mat and tuning in to those four corners of the feet, the two in the front pad and the two in the heel. I'm gonna need to squishy Joya over a little bit. Sorry, baloney. Here you go, Joya. It's okay, lay down, lay down. We're trying to work on sit, sit, sit. Come on. Lay down. Good, puppy. Good boy. We're working on it. He's small still. Extend that leg long. Tuning into that micro bend here at the knee. Really tuning into that body, tuning into the knee here. This is one of those poses where you might even just forget about this leg here, but this leg, my friends, as you can see, sometimes it has a tendency to kick out, especially because our hips are like boom, wanting to push over. Using that strength from the core and the pelvis, and doing your best to stack the knee over the hip here, and slowly taking that journey and walking slowly on your own timing. It's not a race. Taking it gently and mindfully, placing a wide open starfish hand with that left arm, and slowly and mindfully peeling open the hips, peeling open the shoulders, taking that variation that works best for you. You know the work, you know the routine. Soft micro bend in the arm, really finding that length from the spine, even at this beautiful side lateral stretch here. Feeling that length from the spine. In life, we get contorted and flipped and thrown in all these different directions. So literally, this is just teaching us to endure things at a deeper level. And if you want here, you can find a little bit of a fluid, graceful, creative movement. Just letting go, just being in your body, allowing yourself to find your own creative movement that feels good to you. Oh, it feels so good. Or maybe just hanging. That feels absolutely amazing. I love that. Exhaling and using that imagery of that core strength. So coming in and coursing that core strength. Using even the strength as you root into the earth. Pulling that body up. Ooh, yeah, that feels so good. Exhaling, turning the opposite arm down. Opposite arm coming straight above for that gate pose here. Option to let that arm rest, to take that dolphin or that shark fin, or option to find that soft bind around that side. Doing your best to keep the hips open. The hips want to drop down. No, thank you, hips. And taking a little bit of that fluid, creative movement in this beautiful full body stretch. Really feeling that stretch in your side. And if you're not feeling it, allow yourself to feel. Let go of those thoughts. Lengthen that exhale. Let it flow. Beautiful work, my friends. And my hair is getting a little wackadoodly chicken, because that's what happens. And I say weird words because I'm surrounded by children. And sometimes, yes, you are what you assimilate with. You are a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So yes, I am slightly a child, which, you know, I'm proud of it, because my children are super fun and creative and carefree, and sometimes I'd rather be them than an adult. Slowly exhaling, just finding that movement that feels good for you. Exhaling back to neutral. It's always important to neutralize out your spine before you go into the next pose, especially when we're moving our spine in different directions. Because our spine is like a credit card. If you move it in too many different directions, torque, it will get weak. So if we neutralize it, it's like, oh yeah, we're giving ourselves strength and power and more flexibility. Exhale, hinging, leading with the heart and the hips forward. Exhaling those hands into that wide open starfish hand here. And tuning into those cow and cats. And what that feels like in your spine. Beautiful work, my friends. Amazing work. Exhaling. Working through mental turmoil. Maybe thoughts of what you're supposed to be doing after this are creeping in, and then just letting them go. Or maybe a past thought is rushing in, a past memory. You gotta just let it go. Let go of what no longer serves you. What is in the past is in the past. What's here in the now is what matters the most, my friends. Exhaling, knees kissing knees, watching out for that puppy. And tuning and turning back around. Setting in for a wide open starfish hand here. Tuning one foot back. Setting up the other foot, coming in for a plank pose and pressing all the way up for your down dog here. Inhaling and walking out your dog. Really pressing down in through the first pointer finger and the thumb. And extending and pressing wide open with all of the fingers all the way to the pinky here. Just taking moment in this inversion to feel what it feels like to have the heart raised above the head, to change that flow. Inversions are a beautiful way in our bodies. They help with headaches, they help with mild depression, they help with mamas who are having the baby blues post-baby, and this can even happen for years after babies are born. From what I've experienced, especially when you have multiple births like mine and they're so close together. I have 3 kiddos and they're all 2 years and a couple months apart from each other. So I experienced a lot of the baby blues, and I wished that I had this tool of knowing that inversions are good for this. Inhale, raising up the left foot. Exhale, slowly, mindfully journeying that foot, placing on the outer corner of the mat, outer edge of the mat. Exhaling here and allowing that knee to sink down, not hurting the puppy, to sink down, allowing that foot to track back for a lizard here. Really opening up the hip here. Exhaling, option to stay up. And really tuning into what this feels like in the hip. Opening up at the heart here, my beautiful friends. Or exhaling, option if you have a block or that pillow, you can bring that pillow down and drop down at the elbows. Opening up at the hip. This is a beautiful hip opening stretch. I love, 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 love that lizard here. Really opening up that body, just feeling what that feels like in that hip. Big, beautiful breath in. Working through distractions. Shaking little puppy. Kids banging around upstairs. We're working through it, my friends. Big, beautiful breath. Let it flow in. And shoot it on out. Slowly coming up. And big, beautiful breath here, my friends. Maybe just taking a moment to feel that stretch. Take that creative movement that feels good for you. And slowly and mindfully posting up that hind foot and bringing that foot in and bringing that heel towards the pelvic floor inside of where your pubic bone is. This is Ekapada Kapotasana, the pigeon here. So tuning into that foot, you want the heel to come in more towards the pelvis. If you don't have quite a range of flexibility or mobility, but if you've been practicing yoga for a while, you will notice your leg might be a little bit more horizontal coming out. My hip likes to pop off the earth. This is why we have this towel blanket pillow here, placing this under that sit bone that's popping off the floor, and just peeking behind and setting up that foot, because sometimes I will notice students and their foot will be completely contorted, and we want to be healthy in our body. Exhaling, sinking through. You can keep up on your pigeon like a grand, amazing, noble pigeon, or you can exhale and fold and really feel what this feels like in this hip opening stretch. Big breath, working through distractions, letting it flow. Feeling what it feels like inside of your body. All the work we've done. You're doing so amazing. My body's feeling really good. So I'm so grateful for you in this practice together, my friends. Big, beautiful breath in, lengthening on the inhale. Letting it out. Big, beautiful breath, working through noises of kiddos. Letting it flow. I could be in Ekapada Kapotasana forever. This is one of my favorite poses. I could just take a nap. And feel free throughout your day, if you're just feeling tight in the hips and you just want to pop into a little lizard, can be also just like an amazing restorative pose if you can just stay and hold it for a while. This is going to help give you more mobility and flexibility within your hips. This is really working at the hip flexor, the hind hamstrings and the glutes, the gluteus minimus and the maximus, the big and the small parts of your glutes here. If you can really just let yourself open up to it. This could be one of those poses that you're like kind of screaming and you want to just jump out of, but allow yourself to feel what it feels like here in your hips and open up the hips. Just slowly letting yourself journey back up, slowly and mindfully. Being here. And if taking a soft little bend to that hind foot, that hind little knee here. Maybe just rolling at the ankle, just finding a little length here from the heart. Rolling that ankle, maybe pointing it up, pointing it down. Beautiful work, friends. Exhaling, posting the hind foot up. Using those muscles from the core, engaging a starfish hand, posting back up to, ooh, stretching that out, feeling what that feels like coming into that down dog. Woo! And just feel what that feels like. It feels incredible. Taking a moment to feel the difference within before you set up for the other side here. Exhaling the opposite side high. And journeying with that foot on the outside of the opposite side of the mat. Tuning in, I've got to reposition my blankie because I had it shoved under my booty. Getting that blankie comfortable under that knee because you want your knees to be comfortable here, my friends. Really opening up the hip here. Coming in for that pigeon or that lizard. This is lizard, and then pigeon. Opening up here. I love this combo of lizard and then pigeon. It's like, for me, the perfect hip openers here. Just really feeling that stretch in that body, posting up if that feels good. We're allowing your body to come down a little bit. And I can feel right off the bat that I'm on my left side, that my left hip is a lot tighter than my right hip is. So working through the screen, finding that happy edge, that space between too much and not enough. And if you feel called to kind of rock on it, you can rock back and forth a little bit. That's what I'm feeling called to do, or you can just stay where you are. Just finding that creative movement that feels good for you, my friends. Deep breaths into the belly and letting it flow. And tuning into setting up for that pigeon on the other side. So setting up, moving that foot, bringing that heel in towards the pelvic bone here. Releasing down onto the mat. I'm going to grab this blankie. I actually kind of really need another blanket under my knee, but I don't have one. Because I need this under my booty butt. Putting that under the lifted booty cheek. Tuning back to that hind foot here, and I do have paint on my heel. I stepped on paint for some reason. I've been doing all this amazing painting, and I get really painty sometimes. Exhaling, allowing that body to settle. Doing your best to keep the hips facing forward here, finding length of the spine. Sinking forward here. Exhaling a big breath. In and letting it flow. Working through those distractions. And giving yourself love. Feeling the full body stretch. Wonderful work, my friends. Letting it flow. Big, amazing breaths in. And letting it flow. Really feeling that stretch. Really feeling it on the inner glutes and hamstrings and the outer hip, and allowing yourself to tune in to work through those distractions. Big breaths in. And letting it flow. Slowly working through distractions. Slowly mindfully coming up. My kids are going to come down being crazy bananas. Slowly and mindfully doing this like nice easy transition out. So transitioning onto your booty and allowing yourself to just work your way around to kind of like a crab. I'm sure if you've ever done this, the crab walk, coming into the crab. Taking your blankie, if you will, if you wish, putting that underneath of your back. You don't have to, but I like it, especially I'm on my hard floors and it's super hard and my kids are being crazy. Slowly and mindfully exhaling the spine down onto the earth. Inhaling both knees up to the chest for Apanasana, a double wind reliever. Giving yourself a little love. You can still be active here. The feet you can pedal at the feet, or you can just create a wide open starfish foot, creating Shakti, which is more energy that flows in when we open up our feet. Maybe rolling, maybe opening up at the thighs, inhaling like those old school Olivia Newton, John, those like thigh masters, inhaling. Just feeling that beautiful stretch on that body. Wonderful work. You can even open up at your heart and squeeze the chest. Inhale, opening up. some students, they have to keep it down here because flexibility and mobility does not allow them to. So whatever your happy baby looks like for you. And just tuning into what it feels like in your hips, the compression on the front of your body. I like to hold an image of a chubby little baby, almost like a big Buddha baby, like this big Buddha, but in a baby shape, in a diaper, happy baby in it out, double chin in it, grinning, drooling everywhere, teething. I see 2 bottom teeth. Just a happy, joyful, happy baby. That's what this Buddha right here, he just is like so much joy. I never realized or really connected to the energy of the chubby Buddha, and I get it. It is just joy beyond measure. Ooh, and allow yourself just to feel what it feels like, maybe rocking to side. And if you lose it a little bit, go too far, that's okay. You can maybe just like drive your feet like your car back, almost pedaling back and forth. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not a perfect. It's a practice, my friends. Big, beautiful breath. And slowly letting one hand float down and the other. And using the strength from the core, bringing the legs together. Exhaling the legs up above. This is a legs up the wall variation without a wall. If you have a wall, you can definitely go to the wall. Or I'm not right by the wall and I don't really feel like moving to the wall. So I'm just going to feel what this feels like. Exhaling, opening the legs wide for Upavista Karani, up legs at the wall. Inhale, bringing the legs together. Or you can just stay static and still. Now, like I said, if you want, you can pause this and move your booty up to the wall. But it does just take a little bit extra time. And just feeling what this feels like. And this is another one of those gentle inversions here. Just switching up our body and the shape of our body and where we're at. My body is feeling so stretched, whole body everywhere. And maybe if you're not feeling like it, maybe if you need a little finger stretch, if you need a little stretching out those fingers or the toes, doing a little bicycle or just pedaling your feet, pressing at the wrist, just taking a few movements, maybe where you feel your body's feeling like it's lacking. Feels like it needs a little something, or maybe this is feeling good for me, a bridge, so putting the feet down to the earth, hands down, just being aware if the legs are too far forward or too far back, maybe a little bit near-ish the middle finger, really rooting into the four corners of the feet, hugging the thighs. Inhale, raising up through the core, up through the pelvis, really tucking in for a bridge here, squeezing in at the shoulder blades here. That feels amazing. Really feeling that stretch. You can feel all the way through the glutes, all of the core, the hamstrings and the tops. Option, you can even bind the hands together and really squeeze, and you can even walk the feet up a little bit closer. Really squeezing and growing the chest up, bringing the chest as close to the chin as you could possibly get here. Big, beautiful breath in your bridge. And letting it sink. Maybe if you want to take one more power bridge, you may, or you can just be where you are. Inhale, powering up through that bridge. Really letting that core strength and that pelvic strength, really engaging that pelvic floor. Options also to keep arms up. You could do a little domo arigato, Mr. Roboto domo, if that feels good. Exhaling down, sinking down to the earth. Allowing the legs to stretch long. Coming in for our final pose of surrender, Savasana. This is the pose of surrender. It is my favorite pose to finish practice with. Allowing yourself to let go. Open up with the legs 3 to 4 feet apart, 2 to 4 feet apart. Allow the arms to raise up. If you're feeling you need grounded, you can place the hands on your belly or hands on your heart, whatever resonates with you. Allowing yourself to feel the support of the earth. Allowing yourself to be open. Be open to whatever you experience during this practice. And give yourself so much gratitude for showing up here. You're incredible. And holding the intention of working through distractions in life. because life gets distracting and life gets painful, life gets exciting. There's so much love, there's fighting kids, there's deadlines, there's moving, there's careers, there's so many things happening. And if we can just surrender, working through distractions and just be. I love you so much, friends, and I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so grateful for this practice. I encourage you to just let yourself savasana it out. At any point of your day, if you're feeling stressed out and you don't know what to do, just lay on the floor. This is also known as the corpse pose, but I hate the name corpse pose because I'm like, why would I want to lay like a dead body? So I just call it surrender. So just allow yourself to surrender. And sometimes we can bust past some really big mental turmoil when we can just embrace it and know that everything that is coming to us is just energy. All thoughts and feelings and emotions, they're just energy coming to and from. I practice Reiki and I really deal with this energy. And if you can just envision yourself open, there's this beautiful poem called The Guest House from Rumba. And it's holding that our body is like a guest house, and any feeling or thought or disruption from anger to happiness, sadness, despair, welcome it in. Open up your heart like a guest house. And don't get too attached to it because it's going to flow through you, but just be open and don't fight it and shove it down or choke it down or swallow it down, and just let it flow. And in a matter of moments, or it could be days, or who knows how long that they're going to stick around, but they will go like a guest and just be a humble host and give them a warm hug and send them on their merry way, my friends. I'm going to come up to seated. So thank you so much for practicing with me. I'm truly so grateful for you, and I didn't realize this was going to be a crazy full class, but it totally was, but it was so worth it. If you are enjoying this challenge, or just Yoga Bliss with Shelly, please share this with people that you love and thumbs us up. I'm going to finish with 3 ohms, my friends. Om is the primordial sound of the universe. It just changes the vibration, and I love finishing my practice with it. So breathe. Big breath in. Om. Onto the mudra. Namaste, friends. You are awesome. That was so wonderful. Thank you so much.